everybody. I'm Lisa Twersky, and here with me now are the presenters for a very exciting upcoming program in Detroit, Michigan. Welcome, everybody, and thanks so much for coming to do this with me.
Hi.
Thank you. So just before we jump in and hear from everybody what you can expect at this upcoming event, just wanted to give a little introduction. This is the first time, and I hope it won't be the last time, that Nefesh International, which is the Network for Orthodox Mental Health Professionals, is partnering with LAVE Detroit, which is a part of JFS, Jewish Family Services in Detroit, that looks to cater specifically to the needs of the Orthodox Jewish community. And we've partnered together to create an event for the mental health professionals, from mental health professionals in the community who might want to come together and network. There's a lot, from what I hear, a lot of new professionals, a lot of seasoned professionals, and there really hasn't been an opportunity to come together and meet each other and network and learn together, which is where our presenters come in. So let's jump in and hear, you know what networking is, and you know what you can expect if you come together to network, but let's jump in and hear from each of our presenters who've been so kind to dedicate their time to hear what we can expect to hear from them. So let me start with, first, of course, Rabbi Avram Bleich, who is the Rav of Bnei Yisrael of Oak Park, Michigan. And you've been tasked to give us some divrei chizuk, but maybe you want to tell us why and how and where you fit into this picture. Because I
assume that besides the convenience of just being the sole local on the program, it's a Rav is what I do now, but a lot of background and experience in mental health in general. So more connection and identification with the people who will be present within this networking situation. And I do think that everyone, especially in today's world, who has a belief system, a value system, and needs to mesh that with what they can do professionally, can use lots of chizuk. First and foremost, I think, and people having their own values be backed up by clarity, by conviction, and feeling like what I'm doing meshes with my values and does not harm what I have to add to whoever it is that is coming to gain from my services. And maybe to the contrary, maybe my value system actually enriches what it is that I am offering. And I can come with all of that clarity and confidence to offer what I have to offer to, again, enrich other people's lives and add to their ability to heal thereby.
Well, it sounds like the participants are going to really get to kind of hear how to bring all of themselves to the room and to the process when they do their work, which is so much better of a feeling than feeling like there's my Jewish self and there's my clinical self. So that sounds like an amazing presentation for whoever is local. I wish I was. Thank you so much. So Dr. Binyamin Tepfer, who is a clinical psychologist and the director of Arbor Intensives, which is an intensive treatment program local to Brooklyn. You are going to be giving an in-depth presentation. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what people can expect?
Thank you, Lisa. So we go to school, we go to graduate school, and we even take postgraduate trainings. But like Rabbi Bleich was saying, to be a frum person and then need to put into clinical practice all of the training and skills, you realize very quickly that what we learn and what we're taught does not adequately prepare us for actually running clinical practices for the myriad of issues that are going to come up that are going to be well beyond the scope of anything we learned in school in terms of how to practically implement as a frum person adhering to halacha the highest level of clinical standards. How do those two things come together? And they don't always. There are sometimes confrontations and issues, tension between those two worlds. And we're going to be tackling that tension in terms of practical clinical issues, in terms of some of the more subtle, in between the line issues that really emerge from both of those worlds, how to recognize them, and then how to really look at them, like Rabbi Blythe was saying, not just in terms of the differences, but can we emerge from the discussion more enriched, more empowered, and more effective as mental health professionals who are from people.
Wow, so we have a theme going on. That sounds great. Mrs. Rosie Wax, you are a licensed mental health counselor with a specialty in trauma and anxiety, and you're a Midwest therapist. So not Detroit, but not East Coast or West Coast. And that might add something to the enrichment of the program. What are you going to be presenting and enriching the audience members with, the attendees, I should say, with?
Thank you, Lisa. First of all, it is such a pleasure for me to come to Detroit, which is such a beautiful community. And for most of the East Coasters, there is not a great knowledge of what it is to live out of town. So I'm really excited to be coming from a much smaller out of town community of South Bend, Indiana, to Detroit, and networking with other Midwest clinicians. I am going to be there presenting a short presentation on complex trauma and how it differs from ordinary acute trauma cases, both in structure as well as in treatment practices. And I've been working with a client for many, many years whose trauma process evolved and was discovered by her along the way. And I had very good supervisors that guided me through this case, and my client is generous enough to let me use her case for training purposes. So I'm really looking forward to bring that to the clinicians in Detroit.
Wow. I love learning from firsthand, other people's firsthand experience. Obviously, we want to learn from our own, but it's always enriching to learn from other people's firsthand experience as well. And, I think everyone understands what networking is, which is the other big part of this event. But I just have to mention that the impetus for this, or the motivation behind it, was that one of the local therapists, somebody who's part of Live Detroit, had come to our last big international conference and walked away going, we got to bring some of this back home. We have to figure out how to get our people together the way that those frum clinicians were together and were able to support and enrich and learn from and cross-pollinate with each other. And that was really the impetus, and I think that that's the goal. And I look forward to hearing, I won't be local, but I look forward to hearing from the locals and the people going in to help bring this together and to fruition. And I wish all of you hatzlacha. So keep us posted how it went. Thank you so much for doing this.
Looking forward.